Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're still with you on the morning's edition of The Breakfast Show. And of course, as we promised earlier today, we take a look at the Egyptian humanitarian efforts regarding the help with aid and aid delivery to the Gaza Strip, this and much more. And of course, for more on this topic, we're delighted to be joined in our studio this morning by Dr. Hossam Mustafa, our researcher and international relations expert. Dr. Hossam, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming in this morning and for your time. But first, before we get into all of that, Doctor, we have a quick report on the recent developments regarding Egyptian aid efforts to the Gaza Strip. So let's take a look at that, and we'll be right back to begin our discussion. Stay tuned.
Egypt has been Gaza's primary lifeline since October 2023, delivering nearly 1 million tons of humanitarian assistance, which accounts for roughly 70% of all aid sent to the Strip. Egypt designated North Sinai's Al Arish International Airport as the central reception hub for global humanitarian supplies. The Egyptian Red Crescent, ERC, manages the logistics and dispatches continuous aid convoys to the border. Egypt's relief efforts were spearheaded by the Zad Al Izza from Egypt to Gaza initiative. Convoys routinely carry thousands of tons of flour, food parcels, fuel trucks, infant formula, medical supplies, clothing and tents. 8 trucks were coordinated through entry points like Karm Abu Salim. Egypt has maintained the Rafah crossing is open on its side, working to facilitate United Nations deliveries and international NGO support. Egypt has accommodated thousands of wounded and sick Palestinians in its hospitals. The ERC has mobilized more than 65,000 volunteers to facilitate logistical operations, coordinate entry procedures, and support Palestinian patients in Egypt.
Welcome back, still with you, and once again delighted to have with us in the studio this morning Dr. Hossam Mustafa, our international relations expert and researcher. Once again, a very good morning to you, Doctor. And let's move straight away to a discussion regarding the Egyptian humanitarian relief efforts to the Gaza Strip. Egypt has played a role, and a critical role, right from the very beginning in facilitating the delivery of humanitarian aid, receiving humanitarian aid, and sending humanitarian aid even from different organizations and from the Egyptian state as well to the Gaza Strip. How do you assess the importance and the size of the humanitarian aid that is being sent to the Gaza Strip and the people in Palestine?
Okay, first of all, let me to commend you and your team for this comprehensive and informative report about this issue. Regarding to the humanitarian aid in Gaza and the efforts by the Egyptian government and the Egyptian people, it goes not only for dealing such a place on a map. Gaza, Palestine, isn't just a place in a map. It's a fundamental and essential, deep-rooted issue for the Egyptian government. So for decades, especially for the recent and current hardships and these problems that we all witness in Gaza, the Egyptian government tries to find solution and cross all the borders and difficulties that faces delivering such aids to our people in Palestine as a whole and even in Gaza.
Indeed. Now, Doctor, aside from the delivery of aid, we are seeing the Zad Al Izza convoy carrying tons of food, relief supplies, medicine, shelter materials, oil and petroleum products, etc. How important do you see the role played by Zad Al Izza envoys? We have over 200 envoys have crossed the border to the other side in the Gaza Strip.
All these efforts just going aligned with our deep intention and belief in the Palestinian issue as a whole, and to reflect our rule, our duties towards our people in Gaza by providing them with such essential commodities, supplies. Otherwise it is for food or such medical supplies that's need severely. But as you know, as most of the people know, Egypt will save an effort to supply and support our brothers there.
Absolutely.
But there are many difficulties that not only the quantities or the number related to the provided supplies. You know that there are such logistic problems, also security problems, delivering and so on. But what we witness all the time over decades, that Egypt doesn't give up its rule. It doesn't try to use such aids for propaganda or to just to show up.
Yes, indeed. Doctor, we're talking about over 1 million tons of aid delivered by Egypt since 2023, since the whole Gaza war erupted. Now, as you mentioned, the issue of logistics. The Rafah border crossing on the Egyptian side has never been closed since the very beginning of the war. The problems and challenges were always faced on the other side of the border, where they crossed to the Karam Abu Salem border. Now this is where the checks and the security checks and the challenges are faced to get the aid across to the Palestinians.
For Rafah, crossing, it's not a simple issue.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we are appended by many conventions, rules, and regulations.
Yes.
But the Egyptian government and the Egyptian people as a whole doing their best to overcome all these boundaries, trying to supply the Palestinian brothers there in Gaza with all what we can through these hard and difficult boundaries, laws, regulations, even such fake flags by the other side there, and their rejection and refusal and that hard conditions for doing that inspections. All this makes it more difficult for the Egyptian government to achieve its goals. So we are doing our best in this. Regarding to the quantity of the aids and the assistance provided to our brothers in Gaza, this is what's announced. But we can roughly say it's more than that. This is the official announcement. And by the way, our aids, our assistance for Gaza doesn't only for such what's pronounced or declared supplies like that. It goes beyond it.
Absolutely. Speaking about that, going beyond just the supplies that are being delivered, we are talking about other kinds of assistance. For example, beyond food and medicine, Egypt is receiving the wounded and the injured Palestinians from the Gaza Strip, distributing them to the hospitals all around Egypt, not just in Rafah area. On the contrary, they come to Cairo, to major hospitals, get treatment, get operations. This is another side of the humanitarian aid and assistance. Tell us a bit about this and the preparations for this. We're talking about medical staff, medical equipment, medicines availability, the preparation of hospitals with all the necessary means to cater for the Palestinian patients.
As the whole world witnessed in such hardship, problems, even the genocide that took place in Gaza, many people flee. And we have hundreds of thousands. They are injured, they are tutored, they are needs a very urgent medical supplies, treatment. Also, all this can considered, and it's actually considered an essential part of the humanitarian aid that's provided by Egypt to our brothers in Gaza.
Absolutely.
That includes, of course, opening our hospitals for treatments, otherwise for the injured people or the sick people. Also, we provide such medical assistance by providing doctors and medical treatments there in Gaza when it is possible and under the conditions of the current situation on the land.
Yes, indeed. Doctor, another important issue, Dr. Hossam, is the role that is being played by Egyptian volunteers Lots of Egyptians are at the borders and are playing a very big role with regards to logistics, planning, security, even with the medical field. Lots of staff, medical doctors, nurses, medical practitioners are volunteering their time and are going to assist the Palestinians and our Palestinian brothers and sisters. How important do you see the role of volunteer work as well on the humanitarian level?
Of course, the situation in Gaza that can't be dealt by such small efforts, even from one authority or one country. So the Egyptian volunteers and NGOs played a great role in this by providing all the help they can give to our brothers there, including, as you mentioned, guidance, security, medicine, treatment, and there is another side that may be not clear, that's the psychological treatment. And I know many of Egyptian organizations that help in that, in coordination with the Palestinian organizations there. Such humanitarian efforts doesn't, as we mentioned, doesn't only for the supplies that given in containers. It goes more beyond that, about how to curing and healing the effects of the war in Gaza.
Absolutely. As you said, also lots of psychiatrists, and there's a whole psychological side to the medical treatment as well that the Palestinians are receiving in Egypt. Now, with regards to coordination between Egypt and international organizations, NGOs, the United Nations, for example, what role is being played in this regard, especially to collaborate together and coordinate these humanitarian and relief aid efforts?
This takes us to another aspect or another field of assisting our people in Gaza. It focuses on the diplomatic role that Egypt plays internationally, regionally, and trying to keep the Palestinian issue and to deliver the Palestinian voice among the international organization, and that's what kept, as we said, for a long period since this suffering started. And as we know, it isn't from today or what's happened recently. It goes many years before that, and the Egyptian diplomacy all the time is supporting the fundamental solution of this crisis by the Palestinian state to be raised and to liberate the Palestinian territories and lands.
Indeed. How important is international cooperation, in your opinion, in sustaining the level of aid that is being sent to Gaza? Are they playing as big as a role as they should be, or is there room for further efforts on their part?
The crisis itself isn't so small to be handled by one state. Or because it takes many levels and layers, and also there is many different fields that related to the crisis itself. So gaining or gathering such international grouping, gathering, coordination, and so on, that helps a lot in order to make providing and delivering the different types of aids to be an actual assistance to the Palestinian people. So without an international cooperation between many key players, otherwise political or even in humanitarian fields, also the international organizations, the UN, UNICEF, and UNRWA, these all organizations and others, it should be involved in this operation. It is not a simple operation of just delivering
by one person or one entity,
exactly.
or one country even.
Yes,
right. Dr. Hossam, another important issue regarding the continued dispatching of large amounts of aid, humanitarian convoys. What does this tell us about the scale of the operation? It's not winding down, even with ceasefire, which is usually not being kept to its full capacity. Still, there are attacks here and there, of course. The scale of the aid is not winding down. On the contrary, it continues to escalate.
Yeah, so that's why Egypt all the time trying to de-escalate the violence, and that's through the diplomatic channels by trying to find political solutions. That can guarantee, or at least it will ease to deliver as much as can be allowed in such very critical, very severe situation. So trying to pave the way through the diplomatic channels, it gives some stability, some security to deliver it.
Indeed, Egypt has played a critical role with regards to the diplomatic channels, as you said, aside from the humanitarian role. Egypt has, from the very beginning, called for de-escalation, for peace, for ceasefire. We've seen the Egyptian state with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and many ministers, of course, in the state, working towards reaching a political resolution to the conflict, which is what Egypt has called for from the very beginning, towards political and diplomatic resolution. How do you see the Egyptian efforts in this regard, not just on the humanitarian front, but on the political side of this conflict?
That's, let's say, a point that's not clear for many people, because what's shown is what the media just revealed. But actually, if we revise it, the political activities of the Egyptian government, we will find that there is a continuous and determined effort to trying to escalate this violence, attacks against our people in Gaza. We are dealing with many government. Even now, you can hear the echo of the Palestinian issue and crisis all over the world. This is not only because of the efforts of the Egyptian government, but Egypt played a great role to keep this voice alive.
Absolutely. And Egypt continues to play this role, even with the violations of the ceasefire, for example. Egypt constantly calls out on these violations and calls for a return to calm and stability.
Yeah, because this crisis, this issue is critical, vital, and essential for the Egyptian government and the Egyptian people. It is not only about sympathy or trying to provide some aids to a neighbor country. No, it's more than that. It goes beyond this. If we are going to go deep in this, we are going to find many evidences, historical evidence, about the deep-rooted relation between Egypt and Palestine, and how that will affect our country and our security in the region as a whole.
Absolutely. And now, Dr. Hossam, looking forward, what do you see the Egyptian priorities being for humanitarian assistance in the coming period?
I guess it will be continued, although there are many difficulties and hardships, as we mentioned, and at a certain point, we are going to move to the reconstruction phase, which will go beyond just providing humanitarian assistance or aids, that we are going to do our duties towards our brothers in Gaza.
Absolutely. And Egypt continues to deliver its humanitarian aid, continues to deal with the logistical challenges with the borders. It continues to send doctors and medical practitioners and psychiatrists, like you said, and volunteers. What conditions, in your opinion, are necessary to continue and sustain, this underlying aid delivery and assistance as well?
The first one shall be to provide a secure path for this. So security is going to be the first challenge. After that, the logistic itself. The war in Gaza destroyed the infrastructure, roads, ways, even transportation. It becomes very difficult to provide such aids. So security, then logistic, also the diplomatic and political efforts to find an umbrella for these efforts to keep it continuous and not to be stopped at once.
Absolutely. And Doctor, Egypt has also called not just for the continuation of provision of humanitarian aid, like you said, but the rebuilding, as you said, the infrastructure in Gaza, roads, hospitals, schools, homes, every possible, even water, sanitation, etc., has been destroyed as a result of this continuous bombing and
total
the war.
Destruction for the infrastructure.
And Egypt has called for the rebuilding of Gaza. Egypt has called for international conference when the ceasefire is finalized and the war hopefully ends, to start with the rebuilding of the nation, of the country. How important do you see this call, especially that it has been done very often by the Minister of Foreign Affairs as well?
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and all the entities and authorities, the Egyptian authorities involved in this issue, including also some NGOs or organizations, trying to keep or to provide an ease to all this situation. They are trying to keep it sounded in international organization, gaining the support from other countries, other governments, in order to get a framework, a stable framework for keeping this assistance and aid continuous all the time. Also, the announcement and declaration of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs reflects the nature of our government and our people. It reflects how deeply we are connected to our people in Gaza.
Absolutely. Right, we'll leave it at that. I'm afraid we have run out of time, but I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Hossam Mustafa, our researcher and international relations expert. Many thanks, sir, for your time and your insight.